Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another midweek devotion here on the Tacos virtual platform as we are here for virtual mode. And we are getting back into the Bible with our Rise Up Bible from the 2015 Detroit Youth Gathering that I was at. And today we have a passage that is going to be talking about Jesus walking on water. So stay tuned and get ready to center yourself for the rest of your week. So here we go. All right, friends, so today we are in the book of Mark, chapter 6, verses 41 through 51. And as I said, the story is about when Jesus walks on the water. So just to give you a little context to what's going on, Jesus is going to be on land and the disciples are going to be in the water and they're having a tough time. And the story is what plays out during that time. So here we go. When evening came, the boat was on the sea and he was alone on the land. When he saw that they were straining at the oars against the adverse wind, he came towards them early in the morning, walking on the sea. He was intending to pass by them, but when they saw him walking on the sea, they thought it was a ghost and cried out, for they were all very terrified of him. But immediately he spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." Then he got onto the boat with them, and the wind ceased, and they were utterly astounded. And that is the short passage that we have for today of Jesus walking out on water to the disciples who are like, "Oh my gosh, it's a ghost." And then he says, "Hey, don't be afraid, it is I." And he calms everything. And they are like mind blown. So today we're going to talk about building bridges as a part of this entire story. And building bridges was a big part at this youth gathering too. So I want to just talk about that. And we have some discussion questions that start with this one. What does it mean for you to build bridges in your relationship, your community, and with God? The next question is, what are some things that prevent us from recognizing Jesus? And then the final discussion question is, building bridges is about fixing disconnections. How have you become more connected to Jesus and others during this time? As we think about the idea of building bridges and these discussion questions and how sometimes we might have factors that prevent us from recognizing Jesus, or how can we build on our relationship, they have this little bit of a thing called the Think About It that we can think about for this text that we have for today. So here's something that you can think about along with this passage from Mark. In the text today, the disciples are separated from Jesus and suffer distress. There is a message here for Mark's readers and for us today about Jesus' power to do the miraculous. Jesus came to the disciples in a time of struggle, though at first they didn't recognize him. We can be comforted knowing that just as Jesus entered the boat with the disciples, he will be with us as we are struggling or when everything seems chaotic. What a perfect time for a message like that as we continue to live in this world that is sick and has many issues to work around and has COVID-19 escalating in some places like we do in the state of Wisconsin. So I want to really think about this idea of how a lot of times we might seem really hopeless in this time that we live in, and that it can get really scary. As the disciples were out on the water, they were scared when they saw what they thought was a ghost. And I want to really focus on the question of what are some things that prevent us from recognizing Jesus. Because this has a lot to do with the way that I view my relationship with Jesus and how I interpret God's relationship amongst us and how God lives in this world today. And I think it has a lot to do with us and Jesus living through us and being within our hearts and on our minds all the time. And I think that's where it can be challenging to have a relationship, and how it's really easy to not recognize Jesus because you might be looking for someone, like how the disciples thought that out on the water there was something other than Jesus, when in reality Jesus has always been right in front of us. As this at the end of the Think About It, it talks about how he will always enter times of our need and he will be there when we're struggling, even when everything seems chaotic. And I think it's important to remember that Jesus lives within each and every one of us, and that we are the hands and feet of God in this world, bringing the love and the light and the grace of Jesus out in our lives. So when you think about what is preventing you to recognize Jesus, I want you to think about maybe where you can see Jesus in the people around you and how you can be more like Jesus in the things that you do and in the way that you act and the way that you respond to certain situations. As this world is something that is seemingly always chaotic, and we have the tendency to forget and recognize Jesus in places, I want you to try to be Jesus for the people around you, and I want you to try to seek Jesus in the people that are around you. Because ultimately that can help build a bridge between you and someone you are with in your day or with over your devices or things like that. So think about that as we wrap up today's devotion. I want to thank you for taking the time to sit down with me for these few minutes of reading in the Bible and listening and learning about Jesus and how we can be more of good disciples in the world. And I hope that this helps you center yourself for the rest of your week so that you might actually experience something and feel like you are recognizing Jesus in this world that can be so crazy. And we'll see you back here on this platform, right here, through a text, through a Facebook video, through a YouTube link on Friday, where we will be answering some of your questions. So make sure that if you have anything that you would like to discuss on this channel or on this platform, please send it my way, and we will make sure to include it in our Talk About It Friday video, as that is the next time that we will see you. So have a good one, everybody. I hope you finish out the rest of your week strong, and that you can be back here on Friday when we talk about it. See you later.